Welcome back to the Casual Armory. Today we're going to be fitting the 6.5 Mosin Action to its stock. And while it's pretty good, there are some areas that are going to need a little bit of addressing. The tools are going to be pretty basic. A couple of nice files. And just a couple of chisels. Make sure they're nice and sharp. I just use a wide one and then a pretty narrow one. So let's get started with the trigger. Now, one thing I noticed, when you set the trigger in there, it looks like it's a little offset towards the bottom of the screen. So I think we're going to need a little more clearancing around the safety. And the other thing I noticed was this hole is not quite clearanced out. So we're going to clean up this hole opening, and then we're going to make a little bit of room here for this safety switch. So let me get started. Okay, with just a flat file, we were able to knock down the ridge at the hole opening. You can see there. And with the wide chisel, we're able to open up this little channel right here. And now, the trigger sits in, and it seems to have plenty of room to move side to side. So it should center up nicely. We may have to adjust a little bit when it's installed up here at the top. It seems may want to contact up here, but we're going to wait on that. Remember, with wood, you want to ease up on it because you can't add more wood if you take away too much. So, with this pretty much done, I think, we're going to look up at this. This is the front lug hole. And if you can see, the hole is offset just a little bit to the right. And if we look at our action, the hole is pretty much centered. So I think we're going to open this hole up, and we're going to be a little generous here because we are going to bed the stock. So this hole will be refilled with bedding compound to mimic the exact contours of this front lug. So let's open this up. We're just going to use a chisel, and we're going to open it up so it's about even with the front or the left side of the hole. So let's get started with that. Alright, with a simple chisel, we got this hole opened up, and it looks nice and big. That'll fill in nicely with the bedding compound. So what we're going to do now is we're going to set the barreled action in place, and we're going to see where we have contact and what we can do about it. So let's get the barrel and see what we got. Now, once you lay the action in place, flip it over and put the rear longer action screw through the front hole. There is a metal insert in the front hole, pillar in the front hole, and it's gonna help with the barrel not sitting all the way down into the stock yet. The longer screw will allow you to line it up and get a good locator for where the action's actually going to sit. Now, with it sitting down in there, we've got a lot of contact points. Like we showed, we already know the barrel channel needs a lot of attention. They only come, I believe, with the barrel contours for a military barrel, so we've got a lot of work to do up here. But first, we're going to try to get the rear tang to sit down. And because the stock is painted, if you add just a little bit of pressure, you'll get an indentation into where it is making contact. And it looks like we're going to have to maybe open up a little bit around the whole tang. So let's get the tang addressed first, and then we'll move on down the action as it wants to sit down, and then we'll do the barrel channel last. All right, let's get started. Like I said, because it's a painted stock, you can see where the interference markings are, and like I thought, I think this whole tang area is going to need to be opened up just a little bit. So we're going to start out with maybe a round file, and we'll see where that takes us. Alright, here we go. I think we've got the rear of this just about right. And if you rock back the receiver, we got plenty of room, and there's plenty of space for the bedding compound. Now, I think we're pretty good back here. So what we're going to do up here is we're going to scribe a line along this portion of the taper in the barrel, and we're going to start from right about here up to about here and remove some material and see where we're at. Alright, let's get to that. Alright, here's the scribe lines, and we're going to chisel down probably to the level of this rear portion to the right. So, let's break out the chisels again. Here's the taper of the barrel and the barrel channel. Both sides are tapered out. So let's take the barreled action, and we now have good clearance all the way around the taper of the barrel. We may have to do a little bit more right here, but it actually looks pretty good. So what we're finding now is the main portion of the barrel is a little bit bigger than the barrel channel. So let's come up with a way to address that. Okay, here's what I come up with. A couple pieces of aluminum round stock. One of them 7/8 diameter, the other one 1 inch diameter. And some 120 sandpaper. And the barrel channel seems to be opening up very nicely. So let's see how the action sits in. There she is, sitting down. And we've got good air gap for the whole barrel. Oh. I'm going to dress it a little bit more, and we'll see what's next. Here's the bolt. I started dressing the welds down. Just a simple rat tail file to start with. Knocks the welds down. And I'll keep dressing this out till it's ready to polish, but first, let's see. Yep. We've got interference between the bolt. You can see it's not fully locked in the stock. So we're going to mark the stock, and we're going to make it as small of a clearance groove as we can make. So let's get to it. Alright, here's our bolt handle notch, and fits down just perfectly. So I think we're just about done with the stock. So I'm going to take the barreled action, and I'm going to take it up to a gunsmith friend of mine, and he's going to install the Rock Solid Industries scope mount. And we got plenty of clearance with the bolt handle, So I'm going to take this back apart. I'm going to prep the stock for bedding. I'm still waiting for the bedding material to show up. And in the next video, we're going to go over how to bed the action when it comes back from the gunsmith. And then we'll bed the action into the stock. And then she'll be ready to take to the range, and let's go test it. So stay tuned for the next video. And thanks for watching. I'll see you later.